We have to tell you. Hello and welcome to the Bellcast, episode 10. Kevin?
Lorenzo, how's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
All right. Mike, how are you?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fine. Let's talk about this for about 10 to 12 minutes, Mike. What do you think?
Good. Yeah, at least 15 minutes.
Your hair looks on point today. I like it.
Got it cut here at Bellworks. You can do it all here.
Kevin and I can make fun of people's hair all we want.
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
Do you guys go to Salon Concrete? Yeah.
I do. I actually do. Yeah, I do. I had a membership at Salon.
Oh, wait, we're on the Bell. Yes, no, that's good that you go there.
Yeah, no, I do. I did. You know, I do the trim the beard, do the hair. Actually, the past couple times I did it myself at home, but yeah, I had the membership.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
$50 a month or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, $40-50 a month. You go down and they take care of you anytime you need.
This conversation just went right to salon.
So
I think,
you?
I think
You go to
just
salon?
Me? No, I do it myself. I could care less. No, the salon for a bald guy is like one step up from having your mom do it for you, if you ask me. But you have
A
him.
little left.
Yes, yes. So we did the episode last week. Did you guys listen to it?
I did. Yeah.
Mike?
Of course.
What did you think? The volume was better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Are we recording, by the way, on YouTube?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
we're
we're
recording.
recording.
We're gonna put it
So,
on YouTube.
Every episode now is going to be on YouTube, the full.
Full episode.
full
and then
episode,
we'll put some
right.
clips up after.
Okay. Instagram,
Yeah.
yes, right. Facebook, if people want to. And LinkedIn, you've been posting it on your personal
I'll post it
pages,
on
right?
personal, and you guys can do the same with clips.
Okay. So, how's the international global sales going?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full-time gig, you know, the international relationships with the Bellcast, but it's going well.
Are we marketing in Delaware yet? I don't know why. We're going to find somebody in Delaware. I just think it's its own world.
Yeah, what is it with Delaware? You
Well,
have something with
coming
them?
from the wedding world, when you DJ weddings in Delaware, for some reason, females wore pantyhose even when they were 18. It was just a real strange. Guys didn't wear suits. It was odd. So I've always said, well, Delaware,
Different
stay strong, Delaware.
Little
Do yourself. We have a guest.
Is she from Delaware?
I'm not from Delaware.
No, she's not from Delaware. Oh, that's good because I would have just been thrown under the bus. Kevin, would you like to introduce our guest?
Sure.
Lovely.
Nice. We have Alicia Ambrose, correct?
Yes.
All right, Alicia Ambrose from JGS Insurance, right?
Yes.
Right here in the building. Say hello to the world.
Hi, everyone.
All 36 fans, yes?
Yes.
When did you join Bellworks JGS?
Yeah,
Correct.
JGS.
Yeah, our office moved to Bellworks in August of 2017. So we've been here about a year and a half now.
Second floor?
Third floor.
Third floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right about the convenience store.
Oh, the new convenience store. We'll
Yeah.
get into that.
Yes.
How many people work at JGS in the building now?
So we have 93 employees. About 10 are remote because we do have a subsidiary company in Florida that has
Okay.
3 employees.
So
That's
83
nice.
in the building here?
About 83 in the building, yes.
Okay, nice.
That's what we can blame the parking about.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
actually,
The
I
parking
don't
is
think
so
it's
nice.
us.
No, it's not.
I'll
No,
be
it's not.
completely
Well, you're on the
honest.
podcast, so it's definitely different. Listen to next week's episode, though we might say something different. But when you came to the building, do you live locally?
I live in Wall.
Well, so did you not know this building existed and showed up when you first?
I did know this building existed when I, upon coming to work at JGS, I had just moved here from Florida, so I'd been away for a couple years. But I had heard about Bellworks. My mom actually taught kindergarten here in the district for over 30 years, so she was all up to date on the Bellworks and always talking about it with me when I came back. And when I accepted the position at JGS, we were still at our old building, which was down the street, still in Holmdel. And I had known that within a couple of months, it was only a matter of time before we were going to officially make the move.
So
to
you were doing that
Bellworks.
commute regardless, right? Because what is it, about 45 minutes?
No, 25 without traffic.
It's always without traffic. So
When is there no
you
traffic?
drive at 3 a.m. to get here?
I
Is that how you
know.
got here? What you said you went to Florida for a while, but you're from Jersey?
I am from Jersey, yep.
So you did the Jersey retirement plan at early, right?
I did it earlier than most.
North Carolina
yes.
and Florida. That's where Mike's from Canada. So everybody in Jersey
I'm still
moved.
learning.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Everybody in Jersey for many decades moved to Florida when they retired. Now it seems to be that the retirement is getting younger because people in their 40s are saying, I'm just going to move to North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And I'm like, okay, but I don't know what you think is going to be much different outside of the fact that you still have to make money and the bagels are going to suck. And the pizza's definitely not going to be
Well,
the
no
same.
state income tax in
Yeah,
Florida.
taxes.
Yes.
Okay, well, yes, but let's just say that maybe you make less money, but I think it's getting better, right? Okay, so what does the company do? that you work for?
We're a property and casualty broker, and we also have employee benefits.
Okay, that's fancy.
Yeah.
What's the first part? Property and casualty.
Property and casualty, yes.
Yes. What is that?
So it is insurance for businesses, business owners, corporations. We also have a habitational department that insures condo associations and things of that nature.
And what's your position? Actually, you said you've been there in the Florida location, right?
No, I wasn't working
Okay.
at this company in Florida. So I've been here almost 2 years. I actually interned for JGS when I was in school. So very, very familiar with the company. Back then I was just an intern, snoopling. But upon coming back, I took the position as a marketing associate. So in charge of social media. We release a quarterly magazine that we work on with a publisher out of Canada. And
we are good for something.
Yeah, but I publish magazines, so you can see how fast they're going to be doing it from Holmdel, New Jersey, real quick.
But I will tell you, the people in Canada are the nicest people. So
Most of them.
most of them. I don't know how to consider
Until they move to New Jersey and then they get jaded
Hard-
after 10
hard
years.
to
Yeah.
He had a rough weekend. We can explore that later. So you weren't working for that company in Florida, and now you handle marketing. So do you have a team, or is it yourself?
It's myself up there. So that I think has been the biggest challenge, coming from creative roles in the past where I'm just surrounded by creative people all day making decisions and feeding off one another.
Right.
I don't have that here, which has been a struggle.
I'm here for you. If you need design, see, I don't hang out with designers; they're the worst. But if you need that kind of stuff,
They're very loony.
We should also mention that she is a freelance designer.
freelance designer. Okay, so that I could have you on the other podcast. But it's safe to say that if your company does not post this podcast anywhere, we know who to blame.
It would be
You're
that
absolutely
is true,
right.
right?
Yes, because I don't think anyone would know how to.
I think you probably like it here, but do you feel like when you're up there on the third floor that you're separated from, like, is it good? Do you like it being further away from the main atrium and stuff like that? Or
No, absolutely not. I find that being able to feed off people's energy down here on the main floor is what gives me my inspiration, and really what kind of has grown our social media into what it is. Not that it's, I mean, we don't have a huge following yet, but we've started from nothing. So we're coming, growing into it and just working off of the energy of the people around us.
You'll definitely get like 5 more from this podcast. So.
So you can handle the influx.
A year
At
from
JGS
now,
Insurance.
a year from now, as it gets more play, people will go back and listen to stuff. Apparently not the first 3 episodes, but after that, episode 4 and on, they will listen to it. So hopefully this helps the company as much as anything. Kevin?
Yeah, I did. That was part of the reason why I wanted to have you on too. Is I've been kind of following the social that you guys have been doing, and you're doing an excellent job. I didn't know it was just you, but
Which is a good thing. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. Is to make it seem like you have a whole
kudos
team.
to that. I feel that since you guys have been here, you've really embraced kind of the Bellworks culture, and that's kind of influenced your social media, and then you have this kind of new campaigns, kind of insurance isn't boring, so that ties into your social. Just kind of explain explain how that can be with with your social accounts and what your day-to-day kind of looks like.
Sure. Upon starting, we had a LinkedIn profile and a Facebook profile, but I'm very minimal posting. If anything, it was springtime's coming, don't forget to clean your gutters. So, and as
Stock
helpful
photo,
as that stuff is, it's not going to get people to, interact with you or engage with you, or it doesn't, pull the curtain to see what's really behind this quote boring industry. So when I started, I had asked, do we have an Instagram account? Can I have the credentials? And someone said, we do, but what are you going to post, like an insurance contract? And I'm not really good for thinking on the spot like that, but I was like, I'm going to get back to you with that, but I'm going to prove you wrong. So I looked at what we had on the Instagram account. It was like someone posted a bottle of water in the summertime and said, don't forget to stay hydrated. So we have some work to do. And it wasn't until moving to Bellworks, or even just coming for the tour before we moved and just seeing like all the opportunity, just seeing that indoor turf. That was my first thing that really stuck out to me, and think like, if Bellworks, like, do we have to rent the turf? Is there a fee? Would they let us do anything we wanted on the turf? And so just that alone got the wheels turning. So started the Instagram and just asking employees, what do you guys feel like doing? What are you into? Since starting, I've also initiated a wellness committee amongst our office and pulled people in from different departments that just represent all demographics to give me their opinions about what they're hearing around the office, what's important to people. And so based on that, we just came up with just different initiatives. And with that came content for us, whether it was like a CrossFit workout or yoga, just ways to take photos and be able to post them on social media and just show more of the culture and not so much the insurance language and insurance world of it. Because while I do think what we do can be considered, quote, boring, it is very heavy. Many people trust us with their entire business operations, manufacturers, food manufacturing, and it's a lot. So an opportunity to show the people that are behind the curtain and what we're doing and that we do have fun but take it seriously, I thought was really important. And I do think the insurance isn't boring really started when Bellworks approached me and said, we'd love to write an article about how I forget the exact title of what they said, but how you're proving that insurance isn't boring. And I just loved that they took the time to recognize us, wanted to write an article about us. I thought it just was so nicely done. And that was kind of like the jumping off part of like, because I also thought, is calling us boring like PC? Is that okay? Should I not be putting that in people's minds?
I think you should. Remember the movie Office Space?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole concept of the boring part can be embraced.
Yeah.
In a way that makes it attractive.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Like boring as heck, yes, but then show somebody getting hit by a bus and realize how boring sometimes is effective. You know.
Right.
So like there's different ways you could do it. Now, do you present the platforms differently? Because if you go on, that's my phone ringing, guys. It's me.
Always.
I screwed it up.
Always.
It was on vibrate. It's my father. Should I put this on live? It'd be fascinating. So the way you present stuff on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn is the articles should not necessarily have to be the same. They should be presented in a different way. So the LinkedIn material is obviously a little bit more cut and dry, the boring side of it. Whereas Instagram, is it Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn primarily?
And Twitter, yes.
And Twitter. So Twitter, you're sending out stuff as like a resource. Like it's kind of like empty right now, but you need to be out there. Facebook is challenging because of people don't see it. Mm-hmm. The comfort level of it is when people go to your website or they're looking for insurance, they see that you're providing content.
Right.
Right? Whereas Instagram is the now. And Snapchat would be a little bit daring, dare I say, but
for insurance companies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you know, I like the logic of always go where they ain't. So like, if the insurance companies and it doesn't make sense to go to Snapchat. Sometimes you try stuff like that,
Snapchat.
right? So it's a challenge because being in a quote unquote boring service is challenging and to stand out.
But an opportunity, I think, too, right? Because
yes, that's what
if you're in a space where everyone's doing this, right now you're just trying to compete. But I think what you guys have done a nice job is, I mean, insurance is not only is it heavy, but it's also like sometimes has this negative side, right? So for us as a business, we need to buy insurance to hedge against X happening. That's a negative event, right? So you almost like don't even want to go there. But at least if you go there, you want to be dealing with people, real people that you trust, that have credibility, right? So it seems like a lot of your messaging has been around the we are like people side, right? You're dealing with people that you can relate to that are credible and trustworthy. Is that kind of part of the messaging that you guys look to craft? Absolutely,
yeah, and just show that we are a forward-thinking, progressive company, always embracing change. We had a mural just put up on our wall a couple months ago about changing and to embrace it, and also another quote about get a good seat on the rocket ship. If you're offered a seat, don't ask which seat, just take it. So just going with the flow, but also progressing and working together.
Now, a question for you on that, because this always comes up, is ROI, right? The measurement of it. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times companies, specifically in the finance world and insurance, I used to work at Fast Company and all my clients were finance and insurance, right? And so the question was always, well, if I do this campaign, what's the payback on it? And you know, part of that you had to educate to say, well, there's a lot that goes into this as far as brand awareness, you know, an overarching effect on the entire company. But how do you guys, I mean, how's your management, first of all, in terms of giving you a little bit of freedom on that, but how are you guys tracking the impact of some of that marketing?
Yeah, we definitely, that's what I can say about the owners, Kenny and Vinny. They're brothers, the Hagers, and they have given me so much freedom to be able to not do whatever I want to do, but just push the boundaries a little bit and try new things. Right now we are in the process of almost completion upon our new website. We do not spend any dollars on digital marketing yet because it's all kind of waiting for the website to be ready. So that's kind of where we are. We don't do any kind of pay-per-click advertising right now. That's just where we are right now until we get everything up and rolling.
Okay, so the measurement of the actual social media stuff is not quite down to the click or anything like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of the overarching brand awareness right now.
Right. It's just doing things organically, things through the building, just marketing it that way for now.
And what's the feedback been on social from people who have seen it? I mean, obviously we like it, but I mean, what's the additional feedback and engagement you're getting?
I think you're forced to say that right now.
Yeah,
That's fine. I haven't followed you. I don't know anything.
Oh my
We're not
goodness.
forced to say anything.
You have to be honest.
I will know. Just being honest too. I will follow you.
Good.
But it's tough because you're just beginning with it. Now I'm bullish on the PPC and all that stuff, but not until the website is done.
Correct.
Because it's the client or the potential person who's looking at it, it's one time. They're not coming back in 6 months or anything like that. And the challenge is always a balance between not necessarily politically correct, but business correct, standing out and having a product or a service that isn't ideal, right? So you look at like the Old Spice commercials, right? I mean, they take deodorant for guys and they made them hysterical, right? Like if I sold sandpaper, I would have like people on the beach sanding themselves with sandpaper just to be like the comedic side of it. But it's sandpaper. For you, it's still an important service that you're providing. And to be candid with you, it doesn't matter to me as much the company per se, but it's the person that I'm going to sit with. As long as they're relative and they understand, not a relative, but as the relative to understanding today's needs for things, I think it's the best you can do, because getting them to you, you can use all the campaigning and all that stuff. But once they meet with you or speak to the person, that's where you can stand out, right? And I can't say that I could compare it to, well, I called 10 other companies that do the same thing. It's usually the first time. And if it doesn't work, then I'll find somebody else. But usually you can probably close on the first try, as long as everything is like copacetic with conversation and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that'd be a good question. How do you work with sales? And I mean, obviously you're a one
We like
person
them.
team, right? But how do you work with the sales team, and how do you guys try and integrate that messaging?
Yeah, I think up until the website is up and ready, they've helped me a lot with the wording for the website, because I do tremendously need their help and their knowledge. And when it comes to our quarterly magazine, the sales individuals do write for that magazine, and I work with them on their articles, and we put that together, and those ultimately will be turned into blog posts for our website. And if there's ever a time when they need help with messaging for a client, then that's when I'll help them as well. Just polishing up their presentations, making sure their PowerPoints are on brand profile, and sharp looking, and same with any collateral that they're giving out. So that's kind of how I'm helping the sales team right now.
So you have your hands in a number of different sides of the business, not just the social.
Correct.
So I think you even brought that up, Kevin, is a good point. Is it seems from the outside that you have a lot bigger team in marketing than you do, which is, kudos to you.
Glad you think that, because now I'm a one-woman show there.
Yeah. So even with just some of the types of stuff on your Instagram page, your social, are you just grabbing your phone and going out and doing it as it hits? Because you have some, a good mix of video, and you're always snapping a photo of something going on. You guys were playing cornhole out in the middle of the atrium the other day, so you had some photos and content up about that. So are you trying to get more and more professional with what you're doing? How are you doing it? Maybe for somebody out there that's a one woman show or one person show at their respective company. Any tips, tricks for them?
Are you designing it as well, the stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's it's difficult at first to get everybody used to being in front of the camera, or that, oh God, here comes Alicia and she always has her cell phone, she's gonna take a picture of me. But I think being here for a year and a half, people have gotten more comfortable with it, and they know that I'm going to do my best to put a flattering picture up of people, but we are sensitive to people's their feelings. But it is, of course, I carry my phone with me at all times. I'm always looking for an opportunity or some kind of photo opportunity, whether it be with my team or without. We do try to think of ways to do things after hours, such as the cornhole, which is something we hopefully want to do monthly now. We got these custom boards done that have our logo, and just thought it would be something fun to do as like a happy hour once a month. So things like that. We also take health into consideration, and that's something that a lot of us are very interested in. So we did a program last year that was sort of like a challenge, where we got together every week for 8 weeks and discussed what was working for us, what wasn't working for us, with the help of a trainer at Aspire, the gym in Colts Neck. And then this year we're doing, a couple of us, or I think there's about 12 of us, are doing an entire year program with them. So it's been great because it just gives you something to connect on within the office. But it's also asking the people in the office, what would you like to see? Is it more yoga? Is it, did you like when we did the CrossFit workouts last year? And just going for and trying something new. You could try it and everyone could say they hated it, and then, you build on it from there. And that's a lot of what it is. It's trial and error. Don't be afraid to try anything, because it's only a step to build on it from there.
Anything for like love handles, because that's my issue. I don't know what you mean, but that's my issue. That's the problem. You're doing great.
I was just going to say that's interesting to kind of take that and let it affect company culture in a positive way, right? Like, I think everyone's so worried about this outward appearance when they do their messaging, right? Like, oh, we need our clients to think of us this way. Yeah, everything's structured, and then internally at the company, it's, no, everyone hates their lives, but it sounds like in your world, it's actually, you guys are living this every single day and really having that effect internally on the culture. Is that something that you focus on internally as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think being in this building, like you said earlier, Lorenzo, you want to, even though we're up there on the third floor, we don't always want to seem like we're just looking down at all the fun that's happening below. I always get the feeling that I just want to be a part of whatever's happening here at Bellworks, and I hope that the employees in the office feel that way too. And so it's almost like being here gives us another opportunity to step out of the office and not feel like we're, quote, in an office.
Are the owners in this location?
Yes.
You said the brothers, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you've been a year and a half? Sorry, I didn't.
I've been with the company for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yes.
And you also do some freelance stuff as well? Design? Is that not a lot of, were we allowed to talk about that? Do they know?
I don't.
They will now.
I was doing freelance before I started with them,
yes.
Because I did have, when I had my son, I needed something to just be able to do while I could stay home and take care of him and still be in the game. So my degree is with graphic design, and then upon accepting the position here, I ultimately like this so much better than freelance. No offense to all the freelancers. Your Behance page
has dropped off. So see, they don't think I study, but I'm I like look. Yes, your Behance page did look.
It did drop off. Yes. I know. I need to take it all down. I'm just so embarrassed.
The Dawn Heart logo.
Yes.
Yes. See, they don't know this.
They don't know it, but that is
sometimes the older.
Full of surprises. This guy.
Shout out to Dog Walk NYC. That logo was for her.
All right, there we go. My job is
also
done there. You guys, please go ahead. And so you were doing that for how long? The freelance stuff during the initial with the kid?
About 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And what didn't you like, or what did you like? The freedom, obviously, right?
The freedom,
Paycheck
yes.
sucks sometimes.
Yes, it does. It's also working independently. As much as someone could, in a way, I do like that. I also value collaboration and feedback, whether it be negative or positive. It's all constructive, and so.
Is it?
I have to look at it that way. If
Design is the one world where you get to tell the client how wrong they are.
Yeah,
and that's wonderful. And I love doing that. But no, I understand. Sometimes constructive, of course, it's always good. I'm married, so yes, it's very good. Yes.
She says.
Yes, no, she's hitting my head right now saying that. Yes. So When you were doing the freelance, were you finding clients through referrals, friends?
Strictly referrals.
Okay. And that, period.
Period. End of story. Yeah.
Okay. And before that, you said you went to school for design. Were you like, when maybe 20s and stuff, were you working in different types of industries? Like I would often think about the stuff that I worked at and places that I've worked at when I was younger. Yeah. And I'm saying, I don't know, imagine I stayed there, God forbid I stayed there, or what I did. Exactly. Anything interesting or?
Yeah, I first started at Draft FCB, if any of you were in advertising. So I don't even know if they're around anymore. Yeah, they are? Okay. I think it was right before or after their merge with, anyway, I won't go there because I don't remember honestly. But I started as an admin and in the city, and I loved it because being creative by nature and just being around all these creative people, even though I wasn't invited to any of the creative meetings because I was just there to schedule their meetings, I just thought that could be something cool I'd like to do one day. But I also didn't know if I could handle it. I could see how much pressure that they were always under, the campaigns and how it affected them when they lost a campaign or a pitch. So after
a lot of drinking, a lot of late nights.
A lot of late nights, yeah, they worked really hard, and so I just didn't know if it was for me. So there was an opportunity to go work as a merchandiser for jewelry for Liz Claiborne, which is no longer. So that's what I always think about, like, oh, if I stayed. But it was a great company to work at because again, it was around just the creative team. That's who you worked with day in and day out. And also the sales team to see what was selling at our stores and developing merchandise and telling the design team what to make and working with our vendors in China. It was a great process because it's just around a bunch of other like-minded individuals, all with the same goal, and it was probably one of my favorite positions because of the creativity aspect, even from a merchandising standpoint. Even though I wasn't designing, I still got to have a creative say in it.
It's amazing because when you order from China and then they came into Seattle, right? Is that where do you remember? Because I remember I visited Seattle. My wife was the buyer for Babies R Us. Mm-hmm. So she dealt with all this stuff. And we went to Seattle one time and you saw the big docks with, the ships and everything coming in. It's just the size of it, the amount of, because you're from up there, right?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So when you started that, I thought about it. And then we had Lauren, who was Gucci. Did she work at Gucci?
Yeah, she worked at Gucci.
So we've learned that Liz Claiborne, Gucci, all the higher end, maybe not the best place to work for. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all the same stuff. Okay. Different names.
No, but it is funny, right? You see certain brands, like even at Fast Company, I went in and it was like, you think of Fast Company, you think of Google and forward thinking and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to be going in, having a nap bed in my office because it's like Google. But then you go in and it's a publishing company and you're in a gray cubicle and it just is what it is, right? So I think you see a lot of these companies from the outside and say like it's going to be
glamorous.
Yeah, so glamorous, but at the end of the day, it's
but being the top 3% of that company probably is, or if you have an exciting position. But if, like you said, if you're in that world of the muck in the middle. Right.
But I think you take the learnings, right? So obviously what you took from Liz Claiborne and FCB was this creativity side, and now you can actually bring that into JGS, which is insurance, right. But now that allows you to kind of break the mold. So is that something that you try and bring in some of the learnings from the past career?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. Just and again, knowing that you can try something, and if it doesn't work, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, I think were you in the city with Draft?
Yes.
Okay. So the agency world is an interesting one, right? Like we used to deal a lot with them with Draft when I used to work in advertising on the healthcare side, and there's a lot of people that work at those companies to make the engine run, right? And that's probably even where you see opportunity is to say, well, I just paid X amount to this company to build this entire advertising campaign, and you're like, well, I probably could have done that myself.
Yeah. Well, that's how even now I'm going up on RFPs and pitches against companies, big agencies, 100, 200, 300, 400 people, because nowadays they don't want that kind of overhead, they don't want that kind of structure. Some larger companies are looking for small teams that are nimble and can, and do some changes. So yeah, it's almost better that you not cog in the wheel of one of those big companies. You're one would show what you're doing. We've got a small company here. It sounds like a great idea in theory. Oh, I'm going to work at that cool agency in the city. But when you get there and you realize, all right, well, I'm just setting up meetings or just writing, copy for web banners.
Did you go to school for this, for design?
I went to school for business and marketing, actually journalism when I started.
Where did you go?
Rampo.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I know we talked about this on the Buried podcast.
Yeah, I started in journalism and realized I was going to make no money. Print journalist after.
You can have a really cool medium.com page.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got
maybe
a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the Huffington Post was like a big deal, and now it's sort of like, it's like almost like a Facebook post.
Yeah, everyone's a journalist now.
Yes, I am nimble like a gazelle, so if anybody listening needs me, thanks. I forgot what I was going to ask. Mike, take it. It happens.
No, I was just going to say, so you guys are in Bellworks. You talk a lot about the community here. So how have you tried to get involved? I see you all over the place, but how have you guys really tried to get involved with not only Ultraviolet, I know you guys had a little bit of right up there, but with the rest of the companies in Bell and kind of start that community side of things?
Yeah, I guess we haven't had as much interaction with other companies as I have hoped, and I hope to change in the future, which is why I was trying to open up the cornhole to other companies. Like, I'm serious. If anyone out there is listening, I would love
ideas.
to. I have ideas.
Let us know next cornhole.
I'm going to put it out
The
there.
Bell Wars. The Bell Wars.
Hey, that's awesome.
I just wanted it on audio, so that,
So
the
you
Bell
have
Wars.
credit. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, like, because in the wedding world, we have the Bridal Wars. And basically, it's the bride with 6 or 7, right? Do the Bell Wars and have like a month-long competition of stuff going on, sponsored by you. I get free sponsorship. And
how cool would like laser tag or something like that be in this building?
pizza eating contest.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know about the eating contest.
They're on a
If
health
you understand, I'm in the insurance industry. The liability there.
Yeah. She's supposed to be promoting fitness and wellness.
Yes, you know how many clients you're going to get at the end of the month?
Oh, gosh.
They'll be dead. They'll be
But
dead.
the cornhole is good. It's safe.
Yeah,
I like it.
nice
See,
saving.
now this is my point. You want to be different. Be the insurance company that does do the pizza pie contest. If you want 5-minute pizza, you all eat it.
Zip line.
Oh, right. The last time you guys were at Applebee's was when? Within the past month. So don't give me that bullshit. Yeah, so do like the Bell Wars.
I think that's a great idea. And I will say, from being here and showing everything we're doing on social media and showing how open we are to other things, it's brought a lot of people to us that have an idea and want help starting it or want introductions to the right people at Bellworks. So I've had that opportunity, and so there should be some cool things coming up in the summer that we can involve other tenants too. And so that's what I'm looking forward to, just another way to get us all involved in something together.
Even that pop-up store, like where Lauren was, they should never have it empty. Like, it should be given to like companies on the 2nd and 3rd floor to even just do a week of where maybe you get together with the bar method and you guys do something there, right? So like, it should never be empty.
Yeah.
So it should.
The whole space should be collaborative and.
But that little pop, yeah, I think it would work. Like, it's hard to bring someone in new, maybe, to get and do the contracts and stuff. Once you get them in, like Lauren was a month and a half, right? But the in-between time, to give it to the companies for, nickels on the dollar, just so you can fill the space, and it gives everybody 2nd, 3rd floor to be able to have a moment where they're spotlighted for like a week or so. So Ralph and the team.
Yeah, I think this summer though is going to be interesting, right? Because now you have all these other restaurants in here. They redid the deck. I've heard rumors of them putting food out there, at least being able to order and sit out there in the summer on those pads. So I think it's going to be a huge opportunity to get everyone together. And it's nice that you guys, as a larger company in the space, maybe not the biggest company in Bell, but a larger company, can kind of help drive that. Because I think you have this massive building, a huge opportunity for collaboration. Probably not fully leveraged yet, right? So I know there's a lot of initiatives going on. We talk about that in the co-working space all the time.
Yeah, I feel it. It's the vibe from last year, from being here last year and being here this year is totally different.
Totally different,
If I walk, when I first got here almost 2 years ago, there was nobody here. It was like a ghost town. You're standing out in the atrium. You're one of 10 people eating lunch or something. And now you go and it's like a city street down there. So,
now you're on a Mother Bleeping podcast.
Yeah.
You're like on a boat. You were like nobody, now like you're on a boat.
Now I'm here.
Fascinating.
So what's next for you as far as the marketing arm of the company and you in your role in JGS?
Oh, great question. Luckily, I have an answer, a little one. The website. So we've been working on really hard on this, and it's coming soon, and it'll finally please no one go to our current website. But when the new one's out, it's going to be where I can edit it, and it could be my baby, because right now it's not. So that's really what I'm excited for. Just the possibilities with that, and just getting everything up to date. It took a while, but we're ready for it. We're outgrowing our old kind of look and need to embrace a newer look to be more progressive, and which coincides with this year is our 100-year anniversary of JGS Insurance. So it's just all fitting in nicely and all coming to fruition.
And Bella Wars you have, so that's...
And now Bella Wars. I'm so happy I came up with that.
But it's challenging.
That was a great idea.
All the ideas that don't
My
get...
voice got a little low when I said it, but...
They laugh. I used to walk around with a microphone looking for guests, and then I'm just recording myself, actually. Are you guys doing a lot on LinkedIn, I guess? Or no?
I try. I mean, I'm kind of posting the same things that I recycle from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I know that's not the right thing to do, but anything that is not so, like the workout we did, I wouldn't post that on LinkedIn. More like seminars that we host, or we just recently had a networking happy hour that we put together. That stuff like that is what I'm
Comedy
posting.
night.
Comedy
People
night.
love comedy night. They do. It's just like, it's a fun thing. Like, employees bring their significant other if they want, and it's just a good family. Like that type of stuff, the cornhole, but Beavis and Butthead, the old cartoon, but like that kind of stuff is good for the employees. But when you bring in partners and family and spouses, people don't leave. Like when they know that.
Bring them to the family, bring them to the full.
Yeah, because it's maybe not for the people who are single per se, but like your established family members, or even like bringing, like when you see the Grammys and the best thing is when the actor brings the mom instead of the wife, or the wife, right? People love like that kind of stuff. It's you want to attract obviously potential clients, but you also want to keep the good people there, and that's like a good thing to do. That type of stuff. So Bell Wars and a bunch of stuff.
Do a movie night.
Yeah.
Movie night.
Yeah.
You know, they should do that though. This is interesting. So they used to do this in New York. They used to have like a big, massive movie screen, and everyone would come and they'd invite their families, but they'd like show new movies and stuff like that. And they'd have entertainment. They'd have all this whole thing. They should do that here. I know they project
They've
on
done
the
it
concrete,
before,
and they've
yeah.
done it a few times. But that'd be a really interesting thing, to have the kids here and do something.
So if your company could sponsor all these events, that'd be great.
So we should sponsor my
Going backwards again, did you have any experience, I'm asking this selfishly, in the restaurant industry at all?
No.
No, okay. The only reason I ask is there's a lot of designers have always had to work in the restaurant industry because we never made money when we were younger. So we always ended up working in like that type of world. So I was just wondering if when you were doing freelance or before that, if you worked in the restaurant, because you learn about people in so many different ways. When it comes to food and hunger, people are at their best and sometimes at their worst. Yes. The commute here, you said, isn't too bad. Is the company primarily Monday to Friday, 9 to 5?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the design part, are you free to kind of do whatever you want and then present it to a senior person, or are you kind of free to post? Because not because of you, but because companies who are exploring this, right, with social media and website, they usually play on the defense. Mm-hmm. And I get it to a point, but usually when you're playing on the defense, initially it's okay, but eventually you have to do something to get at least your current clients, right, to think about other factors and other things. So
how do you make you have a 100-year-old brand, how do you make it fresh and up to date for social?
Right, so how you market on an Instagram, right? Because to get the 33-year-old who is getting married versus the 66-year-old or whatever it may be, within there's so many different layers to it, right? And then when you start getting into the advertising, there's 100 more layers.
Right.
So we gotta get some help for you.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. You need to have 2 or 3 people.
No, I could only do so much, right? So exactly. And as far as I do have freedom to post, I do feel like there is a certain level of trust. I have been in places where I had to have everything run by the owner, and that got to be so tedious.
Micromanaged.
That's the key. You need to trust the employee who's doing it, and
Exactly.
No.
See, he's micromanaging.
I think-
I tell Dominic all the time, like, yes.
I'm gonna knock on wood that I haven't
Yes.
screwed it up yet, but it's also important for companies to watch their social reputation. So you do have to be very careful, and that's something that we concentrate heavily up there, the commercial side about businesses and what they're putting out on social media, and how that could hurt their reputation.
Do you enjoy it, or do you enjoy designing the ad, creating the copy? Is there a certain part that you enjoy more?
I'm definitely more visual. The copy is much harder for me, and I do feel like it just comes off as generic. So
Are you using hashtags and things like that?
yes,
Okay.
hashtags, things like that. Just trying video now myself. So just experimenting with that. If anything, that's what I show before I post it, to be like, does this totally suck? And then and be completely honest. So that's kind of
It
the
doesn't.
thing.
It's better to have something out there that's shitty than not have anything out there at
Well,
all.
good.
Which is why episodes 1, 2, and 3 remain on the As
Point
I
of
told the
contention.
young men.
Point of
before.
contention.
Point of
Were
contention.
they really that
Bring
bad?
it to a vote.
Yes.
Is it no? No. First
That's
off,
on the
the,
brand.
Was
the
it the
audio,
volume?
the audio quality. We didn't have these microphones.
Okay.
We were getting to know each other, right? And we did like literally like 3 hours worth of stuff of us just. So now I'm asking him, like I asked him about college, and as I'm asking him, I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about the Ramapo Roadrunners and William Patterson and all that stuff, but you wouldn't know it because you can't hear it. So I compromised with the two of them, and I said, I'm not pulling this podcast, but I will not make it apparent on the website. And I think we've had a healthy compromise there.
We have, yes. If you dig hard enough, you can probably find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving you. I give you access to the website. You better not do shit to it. So the website you said in a couple weeks. Are you
Yeah,
guys
we don't
doing-
want to promote the website.
No, but are you guys doing any print stuff?
Our print collateral now just is in the form of our quarterly magazine.
Okay, and the magazine goes out to who?
30,000 businesses throughout New Jersey.
Do they take sponsors?
We do take advertisers.
Okay, I can't wait for our great discount from this podcast because I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in.
Oh, good.
You're gonna have a refresh ads. You're gonna be
No,
screaming
I'm
Lunatic
in.
ad.
No, I meant like as in the Bell podcast. No, kidding. Yes. So you got 3 potential. 2 potential. No, you're 2. I don't know. I don't think you're ready yet. Right?
You don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm
Right
asking
now.
you. I don't think as of a week ago. I don't know if you were ready yet. You're
Yes,
a lot more
we're getting there, but I do have my background was in print advertising, so we'll have to talk.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's pretty good reach for New Jersey.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. How did you guys grow that following or grow that reach?
So that is through the publisher.
Were you
so
gonna curse just now?
what's that?
Were you gonna curse?
Well, I was like, how do I answer this?
No.
No, I wish I could take all the credit. Well, we really got to work. No, the publisher helped us, and that was our agreement with the publisher. And so then we generated a list, and we went with certain SIC codes and
Nice.
Who designed it?
the publisher and myself. So they can do all the graphic design and publishing capabilities, but then I micromanage.
What is the name of the company that formally designed your magazines?
Carly Publishing.
Okay, formally.
And our magazine is called the JGS Risk and Business Magazine.
Okay.
And the goal there is obviously adding as much value as you can in terms of information in the industry. Is that what you look to do?
Absolutely, because it's half written by people within our office, our sales individuals, and some not sales. I write some articles sometimes. Our risk management individual will write articles, and it's also comprised of articles of nationwide speakers or authors. Last issue we had Gary V, our feature article. And so it's kind of a mix. It's not all insurance, and some of the people in our office are not writing about insurance topics. It's either life topics or general business topics, just useful knowledge for any business owner operator.
I like that. I mean, that's it, right? Is that you want someone to think of insurance and be like, oh yeah, JGS, yeah, they sent all this value, right? It's that whole idea of value first before you make the asks. I think that's a really good idea.
Part of it
It's
is
what
like
goes into it.
Yes.
beating people down with it, right? So like I've seen the Liberty, the commercials are cute. I mean, they are because they have the New York City skyline, the tagline, but I see it 50 times a day. So it is true. There's just repetitiveness to it. Like even an article that they wrote for the magazine, you could take that article is probably 5 paragraphs, whatever it is. And you could take probably 10 quotes from there and just. It's hard because you just gotta keep having to pay it.
Yeah, post it every other week. Yeah.
You might feel like you are, but it doesn't mean it's the case in general for the consumers. So
Very true. Yes.
yeah, so the print stuff, and in terms of do they do appointments up there for larger clients and stuff like that, or is it mostly over the phone? Do you go to the
Within
house?
our office?
Yeah.
It's more on site because the team does need to see their business operations in real time to be able to understand.
Okay. Only because this is such a nice place to bring people to, but I understand the physical of it. You have to go see it. Absolutely. Mike, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was interesting. It was good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without going into detail, you had a hole in the ceiling. You fixed it or no?
Hole in the ceiling. Yeah, we had guests.
He's trying to get you. You know where he's trying to get
No,
you.
I know, but I've also
Yes.
I know he's married too, so I'm gonna just calm him down for everybody.
Yes. No, it was interesting. You know, you always have guests, and there's sometimes things happen when people stay 2 nights, not 1, 2 nights.
Oh yeah.
But a good friend of mine stayed, and you know, they had a shower, and all of a sudden I turned around and there was water coming through my ceiling in the kitchen. And so that was a nice way to start my Saturday. And so you have kids, or you have, how many kids do you
I
have?
have one.
You have one? Boy or girl?
A boy.
How old?
He's 6.
Okay,
My
all
one
right.
and only.
So He's a little bit younger, it's 2.5, and our younger is 3 months. But with kids, it's always the added craziness of trying to juggle the kids and then trying to cut a hole in the ceiling. So I did a pretty good job.
Oh,
Wow.
well, you're tall, so maybe that helps.
That
does help, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
It was great. Thanks.
Anything interesting, or just mom hanging out, friends type stuff?
Mom stuff,
Okay.
birthday stuff, or for going to birthday parties.
Yes.
Yeah, we're actually building a house now, so that takes up a lot of our time.
Down by the wall
It's
area?
actually gonna be in Shark River Hills.
River Hills.
Yes.
Okay. Kevin? Do we have any updates? I just
Father's 70th birthday.
Oh.
So, that was very cool.
that's
great.
cool. All
Yeah,
right.
the whole family by the house.
All right. Kevin's on his way down, kids, so that's great.
Oh,
Yes, he's
There you go. No pressure.
Enjoy
Yeah.
your
According
time
to my
right
He's
family.
now.
getting married.
According
so-
to my fiance.
The
But
first-
yes,
yes.
we gotta get through the wedding. first.
According to
We have to get through the wedding.
My
That's
man,
what I keep saying.
you, yes, you keep saying that.
Wedding dresses are too expensive to try to increase the size of your belly right before a wedding. So,
Oh, look, that is
be
really.
economical.
She must really love you.
Yes, that was recorded, by the way. So we'll cut that little clip out and put it there on Instagram.
So Kevin is fine the entire podcast, and then I just bring up the wedding, and he doesn't. He
I
doesn't.
turn-
He,
He
doesn't
Right. He does
want-
it on purpose. every
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
All right, let's talk about Kevin's personal stuff.
Yes, of course. But I softened it up. I went there, here,
he
stuff like
teed
that.
it up. I like
Yeah.
it.
Well, you even opened up the podcast talking about self-care. It's like you come full circle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the
Yes.
self-care, by the way.
There you go.
Yes. Well, no, I use a fufa. What is it? What are they called?
Loofah?
Loofah, fufa. I never know. Oh no, it's the other
Everything
thing.
good with you? All the
Yeah.
best, Steve? Yeah.
You look at me. I don't know. You did very well today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Do you want to
you.
give some touch points
Yeah,
with?
you wanna
I know the
plug?
website, but just say the
Don't go to the
website.
website, but go everywhere
Go to the
else.
website with caution if it's during the month of March to April of 2019, and if you work with developers, that could be 2023.
Correct.
Under construction.
So website and like social, whatever, anything that you have.
Yeah, our social at JGS Insurance for Instagram, JGS Insurance on Facebook and LinkedIn, and same with Twitter. Always looking to collaborate with people, so I do welcome any emails to, it's just me, Alicia. And yeah, we check out our quarterly magazine. It is, I personally
How do they get it?
it's in the link in our profile on our Instagram, and it's also on our website. But if you're interested in a copy, we have them up in our office, and we are always looking for advertisers. We just recently started doing networking happy hours to unveil the latest issue. Earlier this month was our first one, so if you advertise with us, you'll definitely be invited, and we'll showcase you and give you opportunity to speak in front of everybody. So reach out if you're interested.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Bellcast
Thank
episode
you.
10. It's in the can. See ya. Bye.